Let's get started.
All right. Power 5 Sports League Proverbs with Coach Norman and Coach A, where we're going to break down the journey from youth sports to the pros. Whether you're a young athlete or a parent just looking to help out your kid or a sports fan, this is the right place for you. I'm your host, MC Mike, and I'm joined alongside two Permian Basin legends, Coach Norman and Coach A. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well. Yourself? Excited?
Man, we excited, man. A blessed time in 2025 right now. So, how's the weather out there in Florida, Mike? Right?
In Miami, it's a balmy 85 degrees with about 92% humidity. So we are quickly approaching August weather.
Right. Yeah.
And you guys, so what's it like in the basin?
Well, it's about like the stock market. It's down to 22 and then get up to 65 and then drop back down.
This is true. This is
22
true.
at night again. So it's a roller coaster out here right now.
You can never put those hoodies away, I guess, huh?
You can't.
Yeah.
All right. Well, throughout this exciting series, we're going to discuss current news that's happening in sports. We're going to highlight standout athletes throughout the Power 5 Sports League. We're going to have a little bit of fun with some sports trivia and try to stump you guys. We're also going to share some tips on how you can help, how we can help you as the athlete or you as the parent to teach your athlete to succeed not only on the field, but off the field as well. Now, the Power 5 Sports League Proverbs show will always open up each episode with a prayer and a unique proverb. So, Coach Norman, if you would please.
Okay. Yes, sir. Let's do it. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. We just thank you for all the many blessings you bestowed upon us. And just let our words speak to someone and let our words reach out to the masses and let us be the vessel for your words to come out. And we just ask all of these things in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right. And then today's proverb, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so today's proverb, man, we're going to go with the proverb that's really on our logo.
Right.
We call this P5SL Proverbs. There's a lot of things in the book of Proverbs throughout the Bible that highlight a lot of wisdom. And so, the first verse that we're going to go with is Proverbs 22:6. So in Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. And so I love that proverb. Antoine, would you like to expand upon that?
Man, I would. That's a proverb that when you're young, you don't understand. But as you walk through life and you become a parent yourself, you understand how important that proverb is.
Right.
It's always important for the parent to be the manager and the guidance that your child need. So when they enter tough times, situations, they always have something to fall back on, refer back to, and good morals, good standards, and understanding what the Bible asks us to do as parents is always the right tool to use.
Absolutely. I totally
Strong building is only as strong as its foundation, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
You don't start with the roof.
Right. You got to make sure
you're not going to have a stable home.
No, and what you building on, you got to make sure it's going to withstand whatever you put on top of it, right?
Absolutely.
We learned this in the old Three Little Pigs, huh?
Yeah, the Three Little Pigs. There you go.
So as we're set to begin, we would like to take a moment and thank today's sponsor.
Absolutely. So today's sponsor, we want to thank your ops guy out of Miami, Florida.
Right.
Man, this is a guy that's been doing an excellent job in the background where people don't see him much, but he's been doing a lot of things, especially for Power 5 Sports League, and we just want to appreciate him and thank him for everything he's doing.
Hats off to you, op guy.
Gentlemen, it's my pleasure. So now let's begin. So the first segment is typically going to discuss current events surrounding sports, but this being our first episode, I think it's going to be a nice little opportunity to introduce ourselves, what we've done, what we hope to accomplish with this series, and just really sort of what to expect moving forward, not only in this episode but future episodes and segments as well. So, Coach Norman, we're going to actually start with you. What's your story, man? How did the Power5 Sports League begin? What do you hope to accomplish with this series?
Man, so that's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short here today. But man, Pow5r Sports League started. So it initially started with my journey through sports. I was a 3, 4, 5 sport athlete growing up, and it was and then I went to the next level. And through college and through the pros in football. And so that was my primary sport that I played. But we ran track, we played basketball, we did all of those things. And so that's where it really started, And when I was older, I always knew I wanted to do something related to kids in these sports and stuff. And so my brother and I, we actually started a training, athletic training program called Norman Elite, and we started that, and we're doing that, and then we were coaching teams in different leagues and different things of that nature, and it kind of evolved because once we were doing all of that, I always dreamed big, and I was like, man, I want to have my own league, and so that we could help more people or whatnot. And so we got our own league, and then it kind of evolved into helping all the kids and all the sports. And so which is where we got the Power5 Sports League name from. It's a play on words a little bit, but it was just it started out to be like just 5 sports, but I think we're just about past that now with the different programs and stuff that we put on. So
I'd say you blew past that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been a short time too, with the Power5 Sports League. I was able to bring on my best friend and comrade in Antoine, and we've just grown that and hopefully continuing to grow.
How long have you guys known each other? You guys were trading diapers back in the day. Huh?
Oh, wow, man. From elementary school all the way up to now, right? It's been a great journey.
And you guys have competed with each other, against each other throughout this journey as well?
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah, it is. And maybe that's for another show to talk about, but had a chance to see this young man grow into what he is now, as far as just being so impactful in the community, and really looking to help kids, the experience he want to give to the kids. That's the thing that helped us out when we were younger. We had coaches in the GMFL league that really, truly took an interest in us, and not from just GMFL, but once we went to middle school, they were still there. And once we went to high school, and we can honestly say we still have relationships with those men that coached us at a young age.
Absolutely.
So that's our way of giving back, just trying to reciprocate what was done for us in a bigger, grander fashion.
And you both have competed at the football stage anyway, at levels that only most of us can dream of competing at, on stage in front of hundreds of thousands of fans, in the biggest arenas, in the biggest stadiums, on the biggest stages. So throughout this series, we're going to tap into some of those experiences, understand a little bit about what you've learned, what mental issues you had to sort of combat and get over by even, convincing yourself that this was the path that you wanted to go down. And more importantly, what it meant to have, those teammates, those coaches, those family members, those friends by your side, as that sort of support network, that you could also provide them that same support in that huddle. But let's talk a little bit about you a little bit closer, Coach A. I mean, when we talk about Power5 Sports League, what exactly does that mean to you? And how do you feel that a platform like this will help both parents and young athletes balance this, struggle between life and sports?
Right. Those are great questions. I would like to say that John and I experience growing up was similar. However, he had the opportunity to go to the next level towards a stint in NFL. I got a chance to go collegiate and play alongside him. But my branch from the tree took me into the school system where I was able to coach and teach there for up to 19 years. And my last couple of years at a middle school, I got a chance to see the effect of the youth league and how it has on our middle school and high school level. And I just saw a huge gap in between the two. And that right there, watching what John was wanting to accomplish, that got my blood boiling, in a good way, because what was needed and what he was out to do, we needed, especially here in West Texas, where the sports at one time was elites, and now there's been a fall off, and it's because of the youth sports. There's not enough quality leagues ran right, quality youth coaches. And then just trying to get the relationship from the youth league to the high school coaches where those kids can look up and want to go and play for those high schools. Because when we was coming up, we had the high school stars come to our practice, come to our games, and we knew them by name. And when they come and talk to us, like, we wanted to go and be there and play behind them because of what they did. And so what John is doing is just creating that narrative with the P5SL, just trying to get it back, build up to get these kids so they can have fun and explore every avenue of sports.
Yeah, did you recognize more of that need? Did you recognize more of that need when you became a parent, or did you sort of recognize it as you were sort of growing up in the system out there?
I would say all of that, but when coaching, being the boys coordinator at middle school, and just looking at the advantages a middle school or just a high school program can have if a kid or athletes come from an organization that is doing it right, organization that is actually teaching. It makes it easier for the next coach to get them. That way, middle school, now we're not having to really coach the fundamentals or undo what daddy ball has created. And that way, our job to send them to the high school will be a lot easier. That makes sense.
A lot easier transition.
Yeah.
Good.
So, Coach Norman, take that a little step further. So, are you working with the Power5 Sports League and the high schools to sort of coordinate and collaborate on, proper techniques, proper fundamentals, or, because again, we live in a world today where, kids just want to be on Madden, right? That's their goal. They want to dress like they're in the Super Bowl. They want to play, like they're in a video game. But sometimes you lose some of those fundamentals, and we all know, the foundational framework of how to properly block and how to properly tackle. Like these are the things that really separate people from taking it to the next level. So are you coordinating at all with any of the local schools in order to help develop the kids that are, anywhere between 5 and 11 years old prior to them taking that next, I guess, critical step in high school football, particularly in Texas?
Yeah. So, to be honest with you, we were doing that. We were, collaborating with coaches and, coaches coming out and talking to the kids, because the reality of it is that, these kids are going to be in their schools when they get older. And so, yes, but there's also been a disconnect, I guess you could say, a lot of times when, high school coaches or anybody for that matter, and I'm just talking in general, where they have their own philosophies in mind and own things on how they want to run things and things of that nature. So one of the things that I've tried to focus on, especially with the youth, is the basic fundamentals.
Right.
Basic fundamentals, because it's not taught right these days. Take basketball for instance. You got the Steph Currys of the world shooting threes from half court and stuff. Well, this is what these kids see, and they want to do that. When they can't even dribble the ball first. You gotta dribble first. That's the first thing you gotta do.
Right.
And to get yourself open so that you can make those shots. But yeah, so I think that's, we'd like to collaborate more with high school coaches and even the junior high coaches as well, because we deal with those kids. We don't want to skip that gap and then just go to the high school. So so that's one of the things that we've been focused on. And I just want to clear something up that Antoine was talking about earlier. Is this is us? This is we in this deal. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I started out with it and everything, but Antoine has been a huge asset, and he's brought a lot of value to what we do with the Pow5r Sports League.
Well, I mean, just like the sports that you organize and that you have made readily available to the youth, there is no I in team, right? None of these sports and activities that you guys are coordinating, it's none of it is an individual effort, even on the field. It's all a team effort, and I think that starts with the leadership at the top. And look, I mean, I'm personally honored to be here with both you guys. The impacts you're making in the community are truly yet to be fully understood. I mean, it's not going to be until these kids grow up and they look back at their experience in Pow5r Sports League where they might have the motivation to set up a competing league against you. I don't know, but I believe that you guys are doing the good in what this world needs. And again, I'm honored to be here. The athletes that ultimately train under your leadership and guidance, they are destined to excel on the field with their personal goals, but more importantly, off the field within their community. And I guess over time throughout this segment, we're going to be discussing different options and different, just different pieces of how that puzzle works, both with Roundup, the 3 C's program, how it all comes together. This is sort of a preview of where that all ends up. But for now, I'm actually going to call a team timeout.
Okay.
And we're going to move into our first segment of our sports trivia. So let me explain this for a quick moment. So in between segments of this show, we're going to call this team timeout and we're going to have a little sports trivia fun. For this particular episode, we're going to come up with the questions, but as the fans, we challenge you to try to stump us. So be sure to like us, subscribe to our channel, drop in those trivia questions in the comments. We're actually going to be keeping score of these results, and we're going to see who is more knowledgeable in sports trivia. So for today's question, or for today's first segment, Coach A, this one is actually for you. Which Super Bowl is often referred to as the Blunder Bowl due to the record number of turnovers and penalties committed by both teams? And you requested before the show to have multiple choice, so I'll give you multiple choice.
Yes, please.
We're going to go with Super Bowl 1, Super Bowl 10, or Super Bowl 5.
Let's go with Super Bowl 10.
The correct answer is Super Bowl 5.
Super Bowl 5. See, you
Super Bowl
5.
P5.
You know the question was going to be around 5.
Everything I do has multiple meanings. There's a little hint. So here's a little stat for you. Super Bowl 5 played January 17th, 1971 between the Baltimore Colts and your beloved Dallas Cowboys. Commonly known as the Blunder Bowl due to 11 turnovers and multiple penalties. Despite the sloppy play, the Colts won the game on a last-minute field goal, 16-13. But the most notable statistic of the game was that this is the only Super Bowl where the Super Bowl MVP was on the losing team.
Wow.
Go figure.
Chuck
So
Howley,
the team that won,
2 picks.
So you telling us the team that won, the MVP was from the other team and had to go stand on the stage with the team that won?
I don't know if he stood on the stage, but he was gifted the honor, that's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy work.
So do you know who won the turnover battle?
I don't. That's actually another good trivia question. Now you're stumping me. If I had to guess, I would say that the Colts won it because if you win the turnover battle, chances are
most likely true.
You win the game.
Right.
But, with 2 picks that Howley had, I mean, obviously, even with 11 turnovers, nobody had more than or multiple turnovers in the game because he won the MVP.
Yep.
11 turnovers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sloppy.
The Blunder Bowl. That was a great question, Mike.
Yeah.
The Blunder Bowl. Okay, so we're actually going to move into a different segment now, and I'm going to change our look around a little bit. This one is actually going to be the athlete spotlight overview, and this is actually a very important part of each show that we're going to do, where we're going to highlight an athlete from the Power5 Sports League. We're going to share stories and experiences about this athlete. And then we're also going to share a fun little Q&A session that we had before the show, and just start talk a little bit about the responses that they gave us here. So today's athlete sponsorship is actually Jalyn Bishop from Midland, Texas.
Jalyn.
Yeah.
Jalyn is 10 years old. He plays for the West Texas Empire Elite. The national champion West Texas.
There you go.
Empire
Yeah,
Elite.
get it right.
He runs the offense as the quarterback, number 2. So, Coach Norman, before we jump into any of the Q&As, what can you tell us about this young man?
Oh man, there's so much that I can tell you about this kid, man. This kid is pretty awesome, man. He does all the things right. He's very coachable.
Mm-hmm.
He's a yes sir, no sir kid. And then on top of that, he's a great athlete.
Yeah.
He's one of the few quarterbacks that I've seen in West Texas at this age that can, roll out opposite and throw across his body, and that's hard to do for, even professional quarterbacks, but for him to do it at this age and doing it as well as he's doing it, man, I just see huge things for him in the future.
Is he more of a run and gun RPO style quarterback? Is that where you see him sort of evolving into?
I'm not sure. Because he has a great arm,
mm-hmm.
and he's pretty accurate with it as well. And so, but he can run. So, just the way the game is changing nowadays, where you're seeing more quarterbacks that are like that can run and pass. I wouldn't say he's I wouldn't say he's an athlete that can throw. I would say he's like a quarterback that can run.
Yeah, great.
That's a great distinction, because I feel a lot of that gets lost in the mix, especially with these these Madden type athletes that you see Lamar Jackson with slinkies as knees, and it's hard to remember that at the end of the day they are extremely knowledgeable. They're very well versed in the game. They know how to read defenses. They are a quarterback by its very definition.
Absolutely.
Coach A, you got any stories about Jalyn from the 2024 tournament over in Naples where they won the national title?
I mean, I tell you, I got a chance to watch this young man, his presence, commands presence, the way he carries himself. Again, like Coach Norman talked about, very coachable. And this is a kid at a young age that understands defense and reads. I watched him come over to his coach and tell him, when we in this formation, this linebacker is doing this. Can I do this? And his coach told him, if you see it, you read it, do what you have to do. So it's exciting to see a quarterback, a true quarterback that's able to read defense at such a young age and go out there and handle his business, right? And he doesn't get rattled if he throws the interception or if they get turn over the ball or whatnot. He doesn't get rattled, and that's a great quality to have. Great quality to have. And I also can say that he does things outside of football. A lot of people watch this young man. In season is not when he's his best. He's getting better off season. Like now, I think he's
putting that work in.
He's putting the work in now. Yes. And his father is a great example of Proverbs 22:6. He's helped train his child in the way, that he should go, that he won't depart. And so you can take that spiritually, and you can take this in the sports realm too. But Jalyn is a great kid and a great athlete and a great quarterback.
Well, I know discipline and character development is a fundamental pillar behind the Power5 infrastructure. So let's learn a little bit more about Jalyn's character through our little Q&A session that we had. So in our first question that we posed to Jalyn, we asked, what is your favorite part about playing in the Power5 Sports League? And his response, getting to go to the Florida for nationals. Now, this is, sort of this is sort of a journey that led him to that point. Obviously, he was on a successful team. They had the backing to go to nationals. They won regionals in order to get there. But what does this type of response mean to what opportunities you are providing these young athletes to not just experience life and football in their backyard, but to take their talents, their skills to the national stage, and not only compete but win?
Right. But win, yeah, that's like the cherry on top, man. I think it's amazing because I think back to when we grew up. Think of us at the age of 10. Yeah, we had mentors, we had people in place to help us and guide us, but we didn't have the opportunities that these kids have today, to where you can go miles across the country to compete with other people, other kids, other teams that are doing the same thing that you're doing, but they're doing it in their areas. Man, AYF Nationals, it was teams from Jersey and Massachusetts, and a lot of East Coast teams that we'll never see, even when we get in high school.
Right.
Even when we're in high school, we're gonna see, the Dallases and the Houstons and the Metroplex areas, but we're not gonna see these kids that excel across the country.
Right.
And so I think that's just an awesome thing. Him getting to go to Florida for nationals. The thing about it that I tell people a lot of times as well is some of these kids have never been outside of Midland.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They've never flown on a plane. They've never been to the beach. All of these little things. And so I think the experience is exactly what it is. And by him, saying that, getting to go to Florida for nationals, it's a little broad, because it wasn't getting to go to play a game in Florida.
Right.
It wasn't getting to play football in Florida. It was getting to go to Florida for nationals, which embodied a lot of things in that state. So I love it.
Yeah.
So, Coach A, let's expand on that a little bit, because not only did this young man get to experience that Florida trip, but he was thrown into the spotlight and took the bull by the horns and won it all. What exactly does that mean for somebody who maybe hasn't experienced that component of it? Fighting off those butterflies in his stomach, stepping up on the biggest stage in the country, and not only representing himself, but his community as well.
Right. So that right there just allows him a testament to his hard work. And it finally got to pay off, and not putting any limitations on him. And this is just the bottom foundation of what he's capable and what he's going to do. And he will be an example to those that are around him, those that are thinking about coming to play in our league. Just giving a kid an opportunity to develop and to blossom and show what hard work does throughout the year. And again, I just can't say enough about this young man. He is what you want on your team as a quarterback. He's a leader. And I can't wait to see what happens when he gets into high school and he goes to college. John and I'll be blessed to say he won his first national championship with P5.
With P5, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and he'll be able to do that for the rest of his life.
Right.
Absolutely. I'll just add this as well, man. One great character deal that I would say about him is that he's a very humble kid as well.
Yeah.
He's not the kid that's going to go out there. And of course, nowadays you got these kids that's doing these dances and all of that type of stuff when they score and things of that nature. But like Jalyn, I've seen him have fun. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't never want to take the fun away from any of the kids, but he's not that kid that's rah-rah, go out there, talking noise and all of that. He's a very humble kid, man. And that right there lets me know that he's going to be successful in life, whether it's on the field or off the field. He's gonna have success.
Definitely. Well, let's move on to the next question. So we asked him, if you could play any sport with a professional athlete for a day, who would it be and why? And his response was interesting, because these questions were actually sent out before the Super Bowl. And his response, I guess it's his namesake, But his response really does touch on a new Super Bowl champion, a guy who has gone through peaks and valleys in his career, both at the collegiate and the professional level. And we can expand on that a little bit more. But Jalyn's exact response is Jalen Hurts, to see how he does certain things and to learn from him. I think we play alike. So, Coach A, we're going to actually start with you with this question.
Y'all do.
Where do you see this response fitting into his game style? Do you feel like he would be almost studying Jalen Hurts to sort of, I guess, replicate his quarterbacking skills?
I would say so. I mean, just his whole demeanor, how he carries himself. Jalen Hurts is not a loud individual, yet he's flashy with the plays that he make when he has to be. And Jalyn Bishop is the same way, right? Not loud, make the play, hand the ball back to the official when he's done, get his team in the huddle, and he's not going to go outside of character. This is although profanity is used in this league, he's not one that's going to be using that and doing that. I mean, he carries himself upright in the way he's supposed to. And as far as I know, Jalen Hurts does the same thing. So he has the right person in mind. He mimics him, and that's a good person to follow suit.
So, Coach Norman, does he have to perfect his tush push or what?
I don't know if they had that play in the in the books. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, what can you say about Jalen's play and how that sort of relates to what Hurts does on the field and off the field?
Man, really, Coach A said it all, man. And I think one thing to highlight is his leadership.
Yeah.
His leadership on the field. He's out there getting his teammates together because he understands that it's not about one person, it's about the team. And just kind of tying it back to the proverb for the day. I think that's a testament also to his parents. And raising them the right way out there. A lot of people talk about daddy ball and stuff like that, but I think, in my opinion, his dad being involved in his life right now and doing the things that he's doing right now, I think it's far from anything bad as far as that daddy ball statement is thrown around a lot.
We'll get into one of Jalen's responses about his dad in a minute, because I think it sort of ties up this whole episode, particularly with the Proverbs. But we do have one superpower question that we did ask him first. What superpower would you want to have on the field or the court? And his response, I would want the super strength and super speed so nobody could tackle me. This sounds very Derrick Henry like. Coach Norman, what can you tell me about super strength and super speed?
Well, I can tell you that if he continues the training regimen that he goes through, in the off season, I think that he'll get that super strength and super speed that he's looking for. He's already fast. He's strong. I've seen him break tackles, but if he continues on the same path and going down that same road of that training and staying focused and being consistent with it, I think the sky's the limit for him.
Right.
So, Coach A, discipline is a fundamental nucleus of football in generalities, right? If you lose your discipline, you hurt your team, you hurt yourself.
Right.
Where does the discipline fit in with what Coach Norman talked about, the off-season training regimen? And can he continuously excel and improve his gameplay using his mental discipline as sort of the benchmark for making it happen?
Yeah, that's funny that you asked that, because that was one angle that I was going to tackle about his super strength and his super speed, and I was going to look at it from a mental strength aspect. That's his super strength. He has it now, just because he playing the position he plays it in, the type of offense and the demand that his organization he plays for calls him to do. He has it. He has to stay composed. So the discipline is there. He has to do A before he gets to B, and his super speed for me would be him able to read the defense and making the right plays with the process.
Yeah.
So when you pose that question, he wrote that out. I pray and I hope this young man continue to understand what he has, and it's our job to guide him to it and not put any limitations on him. Because I'm telling y'all, this kid is good.
Yeah.
Leadership and coaching is really about finding the strengths of an athlete and feeding that, pouring water on that seed so it continues and grows and stays strong. And then, of course, pillaring it out into other traits and attributes. So it's great that you guys recognize and agree with him that, he does have a speed component, a strength component, and then obviously tying it in to the mental component as well. For our next question, I'm actually going to throw the proverb of the day back up here, just to sort of remind us: train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And with that, we're going to move into our next question that we asked Jalyn. Who is your biggest supporter when you play a game, and what do they do to help you? And his response, which Coach Norman, you've alluded to several times here: my dad, because he helps me push through when I'm tired or having a bad day. Now, that was Jalyn's initial response. First comment, my dad. Coach Norman, everything that you mentioned about his dad being the biggest supporter, he sort of, replicated in his response here. What do you see sort of outside of their relationship that you can sort of provide some guidance on other parents in order to stay involved and, encourage their kids to, continuously train and be the best at what they do?
Man, you know what? I'm looking at this answer that Jalyn has said, and there's so much to unpack in just this answer.
Right.
But I'll go with just one of the things that I'm thinking about. The first thing he said was my dad. His dad is his biggest supporter. His dad is training up a child in the way he should go, because it helps him push through when he's tired or having a bad day.
Right.
And we all have those.
And we all have those.
Yeah.
We all have those. So one thing that I've learned, man, when you plant a seed, when you take a seed and you planted it, it grows in two directions. That seed is going to grow down and it's going to grow up. So a lot of people don't ever see the down growth part. They don't see the hard parts and the things that go on behind the scenes, and the things that are happening in one's life that are hard and that you have to go through. They just see the growth coming up, and they see all of the beautiful things and all of the things that they're doing right. So it's just amazing that he's already thinking that way. As far as when I'm tired and having a bad day, man, my dad helps push me through. And like I said earlier, that's a testament to his parents training him in the way he should go. And I think more people could learn from that and take some notes from that. I think it's an awesome thing, man. Especially with him being a dad. A lot of times we have people out here that talk down on dads or whatnot, or they're not there. And then when we see them there, we want to talk bad about them and say, oh, they playing daddy ball and all of that. But these are dads that's been in these kids' lives, these young men's lives that they need, because it's the ones that's out there that don't have the dad and don't have that father figure or that role model to model after, And so I just commend him on that, man, and it just shows in his answer, that he's doing the right thing.
The biggest trees collapse without strong roots, right?
No doubt.
So, Coach A, let's talk a little bit about not just the mental side of what Jalyn has to sort of deal with, but what does his dad have to go through to sort of shut out all the noise about daddy ball and all these different, stigmatisms that come with him being involved with the advancement of his kid, both on and off the field. How can he just say, you know what, I'm here to focus on making the best opportunity for my son, supporting him, pushing him through those dark days, through those days where he doesn't want to do anything, but we know that it's critical that he just gets through it. And at the end, he feels better doing it. How can he keep this up, other than, of course, looking at an answer that your son writes like this, because this would motivate me as a parent. But what mental gymnastics does his dad have to do in order to make sure that Jalyn stays on this track?
Well, first and foremost, when you have any dad has to be the leader. And when you're a leader, there are certain things that you have to do to protect your family. And right now, Jermaine has done a great job of becoming the hedge of protection around his son and his whole family. And within that hedge of protection, he's built a relationship with his son that his son can trust him. His son understands that he's not going to tell him a lie. His son is understanding who dad is and what dad can do for him. And if you just go back and look at all of the successful athletes, majority of them, their fathers are in their corners, right? And so there's a way that you have to do it where your child is not going to be rebellious against you. And so sometimes that's hard. Sometimes they get it right then. Sometimes they get it later. But again, this statement speaks highly on the relationship that Jalyn and his dad has. So kudos to Jermaine. He's done it right. And if he needs to go and write a book or sell the formula, that needs to get out.
Definitely. Okay, so I threw the proverb back up there because it definitely resonated with your response, Coach. And I think it's important that we sort of keep this sort of cemented in our mind as we're dealing not just with our kids on the field, but doing homework and going to church and providing opportunities in the community. All of it sort of stems around the same fundamental support that really starts at the top with parenting, with leadership, with overall guidance. But the last question that we had asked Jalyn, what is the most important lesson you've learned from playing sports? And the response, which I think is great because of its simplicity. Just don't overthink stuff and just play. I mean, it sounds like a Nike commercial. Coach Norman, talk to me. What does this response mean to a child at 10 years old? How does he view sports in this manner? Is he just out there having fun? What's going on?
It sounds like it, the simplicity of it. Don't overthink stuff, just play. A lot of times I tell people that, the practice and the training, the off-season training and all of those things, that's the hard work. Right. That's the work that you're putting in. When you get out there for game day, that's when it all comes to fruition and you just play. You just go out there and play. We talked, Antoine, Coach A was talking about a deal earlier where, Jalyn himself, he'll make a mistake, throw an interception or something like that, but then he'll just play the next play, play the next play. And so playing the next play, man, that's huge. And having a short memory, especially in this game, we just talked, man, we just talked about the blunder, the blunder bowl, just think about all of those turnovers that happen. Like if somebody just adheres to those things and soaks it in, then they're just gonna lose, and it is gonna be a huge blunder. So, that's, like I said, that's a great answer. Don't overthink stuff, just play, and I think he's doing that.
Yeah,
Coach A, what does this say about his position specifically as a quarterback? I mean, obviously, quarterbacks get scrutinized all the time for not thinking enough, not trying to analyze the system enough, instead of just saying, you know what, let's just go play, man. What does this say to his character as a quarterback specifically?
Well, this let me know that he's prepared. He's well prepared. So when you're well prepared, you're able to just go out and play without hesitations, without reserve. So that's kudos to his coach. The offensive scheme that they're running, he understands it fits him, and any adjustments. So that's why he's not having to overthink anything, because again, not knowing something will allow hesitation, and when hesitation comes, fear comes. But we all know that fear will just lock you down. So when Jalyn is saying that, don't overthink it, meaning he's well prepared or he's studied for what's to come.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Boy, all them P's. Peter Piper.
All right. I'm gonna call our second team timeout here. And I'm going to jump us right back into some sports trivia. And Coach Norman, this one is actually for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this,
do I get to get a multiple choice as well?
No, this one I think you should be able to knock out at a park. But what I love about this question is it really piggybacks off of everything that we just talked about, Jalyn, and his dad, as well as many other members within the Power5 ecosystem in the community. But the question is, the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award is given annually to the NFL player who demonstrates excellence both on and off the field, particularly with charity work and community service. It is said to be one of the highest honored awards amongst players, more so than actually the league MVP. Who is the only player to win this prestigious award multiple times?
Who is the only player?
Rather than giving you multiple choice, I'll give you a hint. This player did play the majority of his NFL career in the state of Texas.
In the state of Texas. Okay, so the Man of the Year, I think I'm thinking Dallas. However, I want to say I'm gonna go because he just recently retired. Let's go JJ Watt.
Ding, ding, ding. 2017 and 2023.
Say, hey, boy, I tell you, it's some stuff going on around here. He ain't gonna pull that out his hat or out of anything.
Why not?
JJ Watt.
Watt, man, he just retired. He just won the Man of the Year award right before he left. Okay. And he won it earlier in the season.
Hey, well, I'm not good at tests, so MC Mike, you're gonna have to send me a study guide first.
Well, I'm trying to get this off my plate so I don't get blamed for bad test scores. That's why I'm telling people to subscribe, like, and drop your comments in there so that you can ask us the questions that you want to see stumped. But nobody shies away from healthy competition. I've seen you guys play dominoes, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
And who won that?
There's no evidence.
All right, but I'm going to take us into the third segment here, and this one is sort of a takeaway of the week. We're going to call this one the Coach's Tip. Where you guys can both basically provide our listeners and fellow athletes, parents, a couple tips for the week. These could be physical training tips, more, some advice about, improving their performance on the field. And, we'll touch on some of the residual life lessons learned off as well. So, Coach Norman, what's your tip of the week? What do you got for us?
Tip of the week, I think it's fitting us going into track season. And it's one of the basic training regimens that I'd like to give a tip on is basically how to run a good running form. We have a lot of people out there that don't know how to run. They're all over the place, bodies all over the place. And so just some quick tips on how to run. There's a guide that we use to train kids. And it starts with our knee up, toe up, elbows locked at 90, swinging from your shoulders, thinking hip to cheek, and eyes through your eyebrows. And it's simple as that. Now, you can go deeper into it and everything, but those are the basic running movements of running and how to run. I'll tell you a little story. This training regimen comes from a long tree. So when my brother was in college, after he won the national championship with OU, he went on to play in the NFL. Well, that season, training to go into the NFL, he trained with Dennis Mitchell. Dennis Mitchell was an Olympic sprinter for the U.S. And fast forward today, Dennis Mitchell is actually Sha'Carri Richardson's trainer.
He pretty fast.
Oh, he pretty fast.
She pretty fast.
Oh yeah, no, she real fast. Yes, absolutely. So, but my brother, he learned that basic training from Dennis Mitchell at the time, and it's passed on to him, and Josh passed it on to me, and we're just trying to pass on that knowledge to everyone else, man. So it's knee up, toe up, elbows locked at 90, swinging from your shoulders, thinking hip to cheek, eyes through your eyebrows, and that's a great tip that'll get you, have you more efficient when you're running.
Right.
Coach A, I think people are still chasing you down from your days of playing. What can you say about speed and the I guess the importance of the tips that Coach Norman, sort of identified here?
Well, again, speed. If you have speed, you can play just about any sport, right? And the tips that Coach Norman has given us, it's a dance. It's going to help you out in the long run. You have to do those things in order to be faster, and to cause your body to work in a way that's going to prepare you down the track or down the court or down the field versus across your body if you're not using the proper techniques that he's talking about. So it's very important. And if you haven't been doing it, then you need to get with somebody us that can help you learn these where it become habit, and next thing you know, you're doing it, and you want to see how fast you get. Well, just proper technique, you will get faster, right? And a lot of people don't realize that running is a dance, and not everybody can dance. So it's a rhythm thing.
And it's also something that you can greatly improve on. It's not something that you are just gifted at birth, and then you actually can improve just like any other skill. And just like any other skill, there's actually a fundamental to it that you need to work on and practice as well. And with what you had pointed out, the Pow5r Sports League does offer an elite membership plan that does include training such as this. Not only on a regular basis, but we also follow up with virtual sessions, different tips, different, bits of advice like Coach Norman and Coach A just pointed out, to further enhance your skills and improve the areas that you want to improve on athletically in order to accomplish your goals. So with that, as time starts to wind down here, just like in any football fashion, we're going to set ourselves up with a 2-minute drill. And this little segment is really our key takeaways from today's episode. How we're going to link that back to the proverb that we highlighted a few times here. Coach A, I'm going to ask you to lead us off as I start this clock. What are some of the takeaways that both our athletes, our parents, and our listeners should sort of keep in the back of their mind as this week progresses before we head into our next episode?
I think just being prepared in what you're doing, really show interest. Pay attention to the small details, and don't have any reserve. Don't allow anybody to have any limitations to put on you, and go at it as if it's your last time.
Okay, Coach Norman.
Yeah, man. I think just going back to the beginning of our session today, is training up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. All of the things that we talked about, especially highlighting Jalyn, and even his dad. Jalyn highlighted his dad within his answers. I think we can take all of that and apply it to things on the field and to life aspects. Because the reality of it is everybody's not going to play forever. As great as Antoine may have been, it comes a point where he's not playing anymore. And so you have to apply these life lessons into things that will continue on after the sport is done. So I think that was a great lesson that I learned today. Just listening to Jalyn's answers, man. He's just so well versed in that.
Well, he's definitely ahead of his time with respect to understanding that aspect of it. I can tell you as a former player myself, the ability for for somebody to comprehend what the coach is sort of laying out didn't hit me until later in life, when I could sort of relate it back to, the discipline and the teamwork and the lessons that they were trying to instill on me on the field, when I was the one that was complaining about running varsities and running, different sprints at the end of practice.
Right.
But with that, our 2-minute drill is sort of winding down, and we now have we now have reached sort of the conclusion of our first episode, and it's been it's been a great one. I mean, I had a great time with you guys on this. I look forward to the next one. I look forward to, more importantly, the next proverb that we're going to be discussing. Relate that to the community, and then of course the spotlight. So I want to thank everybody for watching and tuning in. Again, remember to subscribe, like, and share this channel with your friends. Submit us an inquiry if you would like us like to be highlighted or sponsored within the show. I guess final thoughts from either two of you. Any particular send off you wanna have as far as us ending these shows?
Yeah, let's go. Hit that like button, subscribe to P5SL. And, we got some great things happening throughout the year, great sports going on throughout the year. And we just look forward to building relationships with all of these kids, with each and every one of them, so that they can be better people down the road in life. So, that's all I have, Coach A.
Well, real quick, win the day. That's all I got. Win the day.
What a great message to send us off with. We'll see you guys next episode. Take care.
Yes, sir.
0, 1. Let's get started.